Hello, this is Louis Almeida. As you know, I'm the leader and teacher of the works of Spinoza and Gurdjieff. Today, I'm going to talk about my teacher's book, How to Solve Life's Problems. And we're going to look at one of the essays. This is on chapter 26, The Inner Delight in Solving Problems. The mind has many levels, ranging from very superficial to very deep. When our mind operates at a superficial level, the quality of our life is superficial. Now let's take a look at that again. My teacher again is taking Gurdjieff and Spinoza, working with the students, and giving us an example of how to apply Spinoza and Gurdjieff's ideas to help us increase the power of our thinking, therefore changing our lives. No longer are we living from our memory, the past, and following desires that are not totally beneficial to our whole nature, but to follow really with rational thinking and intuition to do the best as far as improving our understanding. So the mind has many levels. What does that mean? The mind has many levels, ranging from very deep, superficial to very deep. The superficial level of our life has to do with seeking things that are, well, they're relevant to a degree, but we exaggerate their value. Example, I'm a doctor. I wear a stethoscope, and I walk around with my coat, my white coat, and I walk around and everybody calls me doctor. I feel good. I'm proud of my achievements. I'm a special doctor. I'm probably a neurosurgeon or orthopedic doctor. And so everybody calls me doctor at the hospital, and I feel proud. Now, and when I go home, however, I don't talk to the wife. I ignore the children, and I just go to my room and relax and watch video games. That's my evening, and I eat, and I'd rather eat by myself. So in one area, he's excellent. The individual's excellent and highly regarded. Put a lot of effort and time in his education, 12, 13, 15 years, becoming a specialist in his field. However, in his personal life and his social life, he is ambivalent. Ambiguous? Is that the word? He is unfamiliar. He's not clear. He's not connected. He has difficulty socializing. That means that he's not aware of his nature. So the superficial reality of this existence is that he uses his position as a source of power. That is symbolic because he doesn't have real power within himself. What is power? The power to think clearly, to understand the laws of nature, to understand that we are part of nature, and to see and understand our emotions. If you are a human being and alive, you're going to experience a lot of emotions. Pain, hate, and anger are easily triggered. Envy, ambition, hope, and fear are easily stimulated. The goal is to look at our emotions with interest and desire for understanding. Because when we understand our emotions, we are directly connected with our mind and the mind of God. Well, you're going to say, well, this is a video of God. Spinoza was called a God intoxicated philosopher. And Gurdjieff talks about the fourth level of consciousness, the highest level of consciousness, enlightenment. What is enlightenment? What are all the yogis and gurus and Osho? What is everybody talking about? Yes, they're all agreeing that the Christian God is a fantasy. However, Spinoza's God is true and clear, and we want to understand it. We want to understand Spinoza's God. But you cannot in Spinoza's God without, say, looking at your own thinking, because you already have a lot of information in your mind. The idea that you believe in free will. So this is we live a superficial life, meaning our power is in what we do or what I have. Our material things we accumulate, our education, and our friends, we collect friends, and we might start a family. So our family is a source of our identity, and our ego is a source of our identity. So in reality, we have very little understanding of ourselves. So we live on a superficial level. The car we drive is power. Look at the special car you drive, or the house you live in, or you're renting, or the clothes you wear, or the purse you're carrying, or the money in your wallet. All this represents a desire for power and recognition and approval. All right. So our contact with others is also very superficial, and we are guided almost entirely by our emotions. We are insensitive. Look at this. We are insensitive to the deeper hunger of our being and are inwardly unfulfilled. So even though you're a doctor, a musician, a landscape artist, a hairstylist, all doing excellent, making good money, but you're not fulfilled. Why aren't you fulfilled? Because there is an inner hunger in all of us where it's built in. Well, unfortunately, we're not in touch with it. Gurdjieff gives us some idea in Search of the Miraculous, and that's the only book I really study of Gurdjieff, written by Ouspensky, In Search of the Miraculous. This is my book, excellent book. And if you read Gurdjieff, and most likely you may have, may not, you may even be involved in a Gurdjieff group. That's great. However, you may find that you still have not acquired fulfillment. What does it mean to be fulfilled? Your being is filled with clarity and truth. Your being is filled with God-like thinking. There's a mode that expresses this infinite being's nature. So when I say God, I'm not talking about the Christian God, I'm talking about Spinoza's God. Just like Einstein said, my God is the God of Spinoza. Well, what is he talking about? Spinoza's God is a being that comprises of infinite attributes. And each attribute expresses this being's nature, and we are part of two. The attribute of thought and the attribute of extension. Now, the attribute of thought expresses our thinking. So when we are clear, we have truth, we are thinking with the mind of God. That might be, you might now turn me off and say, you don't want this. Well, that's okay. For those who are responding to what I'm saying, there is an intuitive nature in you. You are intuitive. To understand Spinoza or Gurdjieff, you must have intuition. So let's look at this again. We are insensitive to the deeper hunger of our being and are inwardly unfulfilled. This is automatically, how can you be fulfilled inwardly if you haven't really studied your nature and the nature of God? So, but first of all, before you know God, you must know yourself. Socrates says, we must know thyself, that the greatest knowledge of all is to know thyself. So throughout the centuries, individuals have come along and tried to explain who we are, what we are, and do we have a meaning? Is there a meaning to life? Is there a purpose? And I think the Greek philosophers, Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, all made good attempts to help us understand human nature. But there's no one like Spinoza, who wrote his ethics during the 17th century, and his books were banned because they challenged the status quo. They challenged the Christian beliefs, the Jewish beliefs, the dogmas, and they challenged society. Spinoza wanted individuals to come to rational thinking, to come to clear ideas, and live beyond the superficial of a life of only following desires. Because some of the desires do not benefit our whole nature. When you are addictive to cocaine or heroin or pot or whatever, alcohol, addiction is only an excess. That's all it is. All these are okay to moderate these desires. But when these desires are overwhelmingly taken by these drugs, because the drugs is symbolic, it's just saying, I want to feel good. I want to please my desires. I want to overcome my pain. I want to get lost in my pleasure. That's what it is. So you're avoiding the reality of your nature. You're avoiding the pain that's inwardly in you. So we seek superficial activities to hide behind the truth that you are not fulfilled. And I'm proposing how to fulfill oneself. I'm on Patreon. I'm going to talk about Patreon for a moment. Patreon is an area, it only costs you $5 per month. And you have access to all my videos. There are over 50 videos. And each one will help give you an insight about how to understand Spinoza and Gurdjieff. But you must focus and concentrate. All right, so what is the next thing? We fill our time with superficial activities and we see life in terms of symbols and symptoms. Our desires are symbols of what we need inwardly. Our minds are flabby because they are not exercised. Our motivation is to avoid pain, and our pleasures are merely offsets to our pain. So everything we do to seek pleasure, you can go on hikes, you can go to restaurants, you can go dancing. All these are good. But however, if you are not feeding your life inwardly, those pleasures are all temporary. Because when you age, and I'm 83 and I've been doing this over 50 years now, I continue to come to new ideas and new understanding and improve my understanding of Gurdjieff and of Spinoza. This is Spinoza's Ethics. These books you can get online, Amazon.com. Used books are very cheap. This is the next sentence. To gain truer fulfillment, we must exercise our intelligence, our mind. The disappointments, the problems, and challenges in life are the exercise equipment that offers the opportunity to deepen our thinking. So idea is to go from the superficial level to deepen our thinking. And what does that mean? To improve our understanding. Thank you for listening, and I hope to hear from you. Again, patreon.com/The Way of Spinoza and Gurdjieff. I'll have it on my posting. And good day. Today is December 3rd, 2023. We're coming into the new year. So prepare for new things. Bye-bye.